Yes, ma'am. If we hear squeaking, it's because Eleanor got you the Christmas present. And it makes lots of noise, and we decided today, right now, is the perfect time to play with our Christmas present. I hoped by throwing it, it would deter her from coming back, but she's brought me the reindeer back. Hello, welcome guys. I am doing a tag, which I don't think I've done a tag for probably over a year at this point, but I was tagged by Nell from Nell Diamond, will be linked in the description box. This is the Cozy Christmas Bookish tag, and I have already gone and gathered all the books. I already looked at all the prompts. I was like, I'm gonna need time to go through these prompts. And I did that while I was waiting for my hair to process because I redid my hair last night. So let's get into this one. First question is Twinkling Lights. What is the most beautiful book you own? And I went through my books for quite a while before I picked anything out for this one. I ended up picking out Heaven Breaker by Sarah Wolf. I picked this one. I really do like the cover of this one, but also look at these sprayed edges here. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. This is what made me pick this one up. I actually saw this one being posted a bunch, and I didn't like, before it was released, I saw it being posted a bunch for like how beautiful it was, and then I was at Books A Million, and it was on the 60% off for members shelf. So I was like, well, I gotta get this one. It's honestly, even the inside cover I like love. Honestly, I will not even lie. Even when you take the dust jacket off, I won't even lie. I kind of did buy this one solely because of the cover and the spine. I don't have too many sprayed edges. I think I maybe have like 2 or 3, including this one. So I kind of did this. But also on the back, this little saying caught my attention. I cannot stop death, but I can make it think twice. And honestly, this is kind of what made me even want to. It just seems like it's right up my alley book-wise. And then to boot, it had these beautiful sprayed edges. So there we go. 2 is The Perfect Tree. Will you pay more to get the prettiest edition of a book? And the answer is no. I don't. Unless it's a really good deal to get a pretty edition of it, I generally do not spend the extra money to go ahead and get the book pretty, because I'm out here on a budget, guys, and like realistically, I don't display books. Like I don't put them out on my shelf so that you can like see them like this or like the spine or thing. They all get put on my shelf so that they look like this or from this view. I don't display books typically, so really it's not that important for them to look pretty. I mean, yeah, they're like nice to look at like that, but overall I'm not someone who displays books, so I don't worry about it too much. Build a snowman. Make a Christmas book stack, color or theme. And I scoured my shelves. And I decided let's do the colorway. So I already got the stack ready because I didn't want to mess it up. But I decided to pull some red and green books here for you guys. I thought this would be a really nice little color scheme. So I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and then The Obsession by Jessie Q. Santano, and then Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Moniscalco, and Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Artelli. I have not read any of them, but this bottom one, Home Before Dark. The rest of them have been kind of sitting on my shelves for a bit. I got Simon and The Obsession at Walmart a while back. They just kind of caught my attention. And then I got Stalking Jack the Ripper, I want to say 2 Christmases ago. I got like the series. And I haven't picked it up yet, but it's like, I honestly am really looking forward to it. I've been kind of interested in getting into that series. But yes, here is our stack. 4 is Crackling Fire. What book makes you warm and cozy? I did not actually have to scour my shelves for this one, but I debated about saying this one or not. But I'm gonna pick Percy Jackson, and I didn't pull out the entire series because I didn't want to pull out all the books. But Percy Jackson has always been one of these warm and cozy books for me. I've always kind of gone back to this one. It's always intrigued me in a sense, and it really just makes it kind of feel warm and fuzzy inside, because this is really the series that got me into reading, and I can go back to this book no matter times. I've had this copy of this book since I was 12, and I mean, it's still in pretty good condition, but I reread this at least At first I was rereading it every year, but now at this point I kind of reread it like every other year at this point, and it's just a book I can keep coming back to. Next is Knee-High Socks. What is the longest book you've read? And I do not own the longest book I read. I actually went through and like scoured and scoured and scoured. I'm like, what is the longest book I've read? And not surprisingly, it is a Stephen King book. I read It, which is over 1,100 pages. I did like it. I would highly recommend you do the audiobook though. The audiobook is like 48 hours. I wasn't very surprised that it was a Stephen King book because I do read a Stephen King book every month, and boy be writing chonkers. It was kind of a debate though. I was like, oh my, I bet it's It. And then I was like, wait, no, Under the Dome is also over 1,000 pages. And I did a comparison, and it just, in fact, it is the longest one I've read. Ugliest Sweaters. What is the ugliest book you own? This wasn't very hard for me to figure out. I kind of just went through my shelf and was like, you know what's probably the ugliest one? Catcher in the Rye. One, because this cover is very boring. It's also very dingy because it's an old copy. This is my copy from junior year English Lit. So it even has this barcode, which I don't really know what this barcode is for, and I like am kind of scared to pick it off because I feel like it's been on the book for so long it would probably rip the cover. The cover's already kind of ripped. Also, like, the pages are very yellowed. It's a very worn book. But even though it's kind of ugly, it's honestly one of my favorite classics I've ever read. I love Holden. Next one is Blizzards, a book set in winter, or a book that gives you the chills slash has dark. And I was like, man, I have a lot of books that are very dark, but you know what I don't have a ton of? I don't have a ton of Christmas books. So I went and I pulled out the Christmas books I do own. I do not own a ton of Christmas books, but I do have 3 that are Christmassy, wintry themed. I'll just go backwards with this one with the stack. So I have In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. This was my first Christina Lauren book. I actually liked it. It's like a Groundhog Day one, but it is set around Christmas. And I honestly really enjoy this one. Like I said, it was my first Christina Lauren. It actually invited me to go ahead and read more of their books because I really did enjoy this one. Next, I have A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's very small. This is also very yellow. I've owned this book since 7th grade. It's my 7th grade copy, which is why it says Scholastic on it, because we had to buy our books when I was in 7th and 8th grade, our class books. I still have it. I periodically do go back and read it. Not very often. I really like the animated version of A Christmas Carol, like the Disney one. But I don't find the book that riveting, to be completely honest, but like it's still a classic, and I do periodically reread it. I get in the mood sometimes. I'm like, I'm gonna reread this classic, but it really isn't one of my favorite classics. We had a whole argument when I was in 7th grade with our teacher that the book is about Christmas, and she's like, it's not about Christmas. I'm like, but it is about Christmas. You can't make the book take place any other time and make it make sense. It wouldn't work unless it was Christmas. So it's about Christmas. It's about the Christmas spirit. And I, to this day, cannot remember what this book is actually supposed to be about, like what she was trying to get the point across. We just know that she hated us saying it was about Christmas. And to this day, if I see this teacher out, like I have seen her out, we look at her and go, it's about Christmas. And she goes, no, it's not. But you know, nothing like tormenting someone a little bit about it, you know, a decade later. The last Christmas book I have on here, like wintry book, is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. This was my first Tessa Bailey book, and I know this book gets a lot of hate, but I actually kind of liked it. Like, I enjoyed my read of this, which is why I still have it on my shelf. I'm not a huge romance rereader. I mainly reread fantasy, to be completely honest, but I've kept this on myself because it is like the only Tessa Bailey book I've ever liked. I've read a few at this point, and this is still the only one that I've actually had an enjoyable time reading, to be completely honest. All right, last one. I kind of feel like I kind of already answered this, which is Home for the Holidays. For the rereaders out there, are there any books that feel like going home? Which is Percy Jackson. It really does feel like this is the book that made me fall in love with reading. It does bring me those warm, cozy vibes, and it really does make me feel like going back to like relearning why I loved reading. I did read a little bit before that, like wasn't a huge reader, but I wasn't a non-reader. But once I read Percy Jackson, I kind of just started devouring books, and I'll be completely honest, I still hold the school record for the most accelerated reader points because I quite literally scored 250 reading points because I devoured a bunch of books. I devoured this entire series and the rest of the Heroes of Olympus wasn't out yet. But then I read all of the 39 Clues books and I just like kept going through like tons and tons and tons of books, and I still hold the record because of it. But yeah, this book is what started it all. It made me feel, so like when I reread it now, it feels like I'm coming back home. All right. So I'm not a big let's tag people, but I thought in the Christmas spirit, let's go ahead and tag. And if I don't say your name, you are still tagged. If you want to do it, you know, go ahead, go for it. But I thought I would have some fun tagging people with this for like once. I'm gonna tag Shauna, which is Books with Dreamcatcher, and I will also tag Alicia from Books and Things with Alicia, and I will tag Jess from This Kiwi. So I will link all of them in the description box down below, so make sure you go ahead and check out their channels, and I will see you guys back on Thursday with another video. Bye.